What is good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast here. I am Jeffrey Kirby. As you can see, I am solo. Shouldn't be forever. We're waiting for Jarryd to get here. Obviously, he was running late from work and stuff. So we're just, something we're dealing with. But he should be in here some point throughout the show. But yeah, this is definitely going to be one for the books. Obviously this week, when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, there is a lot to talk about. Obviously, first and foremost, there's always, as Dan says, Pittsburgh, what happened, and it's looking like actually Jarryd's getting ready to pop in here in a second. What's good, Dan? And Cleveland Browns, what happened? Shout out, James. But yeah, this is one that's going to be for the books. Because as Jarryd is getting in here, as he's trying to load in here on the Zoom call, there is, and we're going to get to him here, whenever he actually can start to hear us and we can get everything. Jarryd, how the hell are you? Hold up. Maybe. I don't hear you. What's going on? Oh, he still has us muted. But, all right, we're connecting the audio here. So, Njoku won me $500. I don't care that we lost. Hey,
all right.
Hey,
there we go.
There we go. There's Jarryd. Jarryd, how in the hell are you?
Oh, it's been crazy, man. I'm all right now. Good now.
Hey, we're good now. You're in here, obviously. So we know we got to deal with it, but you know what? It's all good. You're here.
Mm-hmm.
You're here.
That's all that
matters. This is going to be one for the books, as I've been saying, because, yeah, between Steeler fans, between the Steelers organization, oh boy, we're just in the very, very, very beginning of the offseason, and this has gone just absolutely ape shit.
Yeah, I think we all know why.
Well, we have multiple reasons. And let's start off with one of the main reasons, and there was news that Matt Country up north, aka Matt Canada, will be back as offense coordinator for the Steelers in 2023. We talked ourselves, we all were trying to convince ourselves something was going to change. Something was going to change. And silly us for thinking that the Pittsburgh Steelers would go out of their way to do something that they don't ever do. Something that they have not done since 2000. And that is fire an assistant or a coordinator before their contract was up.
Very upsetting, but I was not surprised at all. Yeah, I had as the days were, dragging on, you had that sense of feeling that he was going to come back. You want to believe, but it's very frustrating. But this goes to show, I'm sure we all can somewhat agree Kenny Pickett had some insight, thought into this, and I'm sure he wanted to see what Matt can do next season.
Okay, you know what? What you just said, I need to ask you a question. I want to ask everyone else this question as well. You just said that Kenny Pickett probably has something to do with this. A guy who was a rookie quarterback who is now going into his second year. Mindful, this is also the same quarterback that in the last press conference Mike Tomlin was in would not call him the quote-unquote franchise quarterback because he doesn't want to quote-unquote put the stress of, all that on there. Do you honestly, and I'm being serious, do you truly believe that Kenny Pickett should have had, this much say? Or, obviously, yes, we understand that Mike Tomlin is a player's coach. And yes, I understand that he is the quarterback. But also knowing how Mike Tomlin is, I don't know if he... I don't know how to
I
say
don't.
it.
Are you trying to say that he did what his involvement saying he wants Matt Canada to stay really convinced them to stay?
Okay, yes. Should
Is that
that
what
have
you?
been the case?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is the contract ending after this season. If it wasn't, then I could see maybe it was all Kenny into it.
Part of me also has to believe that maybe Kenny is brainwashed because here's the other thing. What else does he know? He was a rookie quarterback in the National Football League. I'm sorry, yes, he's 24, going to be going on 25. It doesn't matter. When it comes to the National Football League, he doesn't know what the hell is going on. He's still trying to get his feet wet in the NFL. He's still trying to learn the National Football League.
Exactly.
I mean, yes, of course he's going to be on. He's the only fucking offensive coordinator that he's had in the National Football League. I mean, so here's my thing, and this is the part that's pissing me off. So, you want to talk about Matt Canada for a minute? We talk about, his, between college and the NFL. I have some stats for you right here. Between the college football as him being, in terms of offensive scoring rankings, from college and the 2 years in the National Football League, okay? Spent 4 years at Indiana. His rankings, 38th, 97th, 84th, 56th. Great. Wisconsin, 1 year, 60th. NC State, 98th, 57th, 41st. Pitt, that's the 1 year. He had a 10th scoring offense in college football. Okay. He goes on to LSU and tanks like the Titanic to 76th. And then he goes to Maryland, has the 69th not nice, ranked offensive scoring in college football. So then, that's just a wonderful idea. This dude is just so great at calling offenses. You know what? Let's bring him into the National Football League. Okay. So the first year that he became the offensive coordinator, 2021, had the 21st ranked offense in the NFL. Okay, here's my thing. You know what? I said this. I said, you know what? Let's see what he looks like with a quarterback who fits more of his system. We all knew Ben Roethlisberger wasn't that. Yes, Ben Roethlisberger wanted to just throw out the playbook and go to backyard football 101 all over again. Okay, so that happens. 2022, they downgrade to 26th in scoring offense. 26th in scoring offense. So, we downgraded in offense, but yeah, we God forbid, hey, look at what Baltimore just did. They just let go of their offense coordinator. I put out a tweet on Sunday. Steelers fans, Ravens fans, shaking hands, wanting their offense coordinator gone. What did one organization just do? Let go of their offense coordinator because he wasn't good enough. What did the Pittsburgh Steelers do? Oh, God forbid, we can't pay $1 million to take his ass and ship him off to God knows where to get them the hell away from the city of Pittsburgh because he's not wanted. But no, for God's sakes, we must keep him because we cannot pay people to not work for us. For God's sakes, are you okay with mediocrity at this point? Because that's all we're here for at this point. What happened to the standard is the standard? What happened to we only here to play for Lombardis, not play for we're going to try to go 9-8 and barely make it to the single elimination tournament? What the hell is that? What the hell is this? What has this organization gone to? I mean, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I see you going on a rant.
Listen, this is good. I told y'all, man, I got about 3 rants in me, if not more. I got some rants in me today.
Like, I want to go on a rant, but after today for work, I was like, I can't really. What I'll say is that Matt Canada, if he has another Met offense this year, there's going to be so many fans calling a go for his head, go for that, for the staff, Mike Tomlin, Art Rooney even. Like, you let this happen, you made this decision happen. So you better hope this offense improves next year.
Shout out to Hunter. He says, watching you at work, working security, and being Jeff Kirby's #1 fan is a tough task. Hey, shout out to Hunter, man. But I mean, here's my thing. Imagine what's gonna happen. So say it's week 1 in whenever the home opener is. You will be there. I'm pretty sure. I will definitely be there. So we will be handling this. We will be there in part of this firsthand. Imagine the first drive. Say it's a 3-and-out. Or
3-and-out first drive. It's already the booze after the first 3-and-out.
First drive, and then it's like a punt in like 5 plays. Holy shit, that place is going to be louder than Arrowhead. That place is going to be louder than the Pittsburgh versus Baltimore AFC title game in Elway after Polamalu pick 6 Joe Flacco. It's going to be louder than that.
Oh my God, Hunter's funny.
Target security is no joke, Jeff. I just karate chopped a little 5'2" lady through the glass because she stole a Snickers bar. Hey, maybe she wasn't her. She's not her when she's hungry, man.
We'll see what happens. You know, you want to get upset about it, but you can't really. You know, you just gotta see what happens during this offseason, what they do, what they improve, what they do to free agency, what do they do during the draft. How training camp preseason goes, because preseason, how much Kenny is going to play. He's going to play all 3 games. You hope so. At least, I don't know how much you want to see him play in it. How much to see a better offense in the preseason.
So here's my thing with Matt Canada. And I did put this tweet out earlier this week, where basically it was here. I have my Twitter pulled up, and I want to find this exactly to say what I had said. Okay, I don't know where it's at. But it was pretty much like, listen, as much as we all want Matt Canada to get shipped out as far as we can, if we could hey, Elon Musk, can we ship him off to like Mars or something? We all wanted that. However, I did have the slightest bit of intriguement to see what would a full offseason where Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett can work together. They could talk things out, figure out what he does like, figure out what he doesn't like, and try to. But that's as far as I can go, because we all know, once again, this offensive scheme is Friday-ish, not just Saturday-ish, Friday-ish, excuse me, and I just can't.
Well, like I said, as much
gasket hearing about.
Yeah, as much as you want to be upset, I'm upset, but I'm not going to show it because I can't do anything about it. But I'm like on to the draft, on to the offseason free agency. I want to see what moves that they're going to do. It's going to be very interesting once after the Super Bowl happens. What's going to happen in free agency? Who's going to stay? Who are they going to sign? If they want to sign someone off in the offseason, I don't know, Mr. Jarryd Dulac.
Who, by the way, has me blocked on Twitter.
Jarryd Dulac saying that don't be surprised seeing the Steelers don't go big in the in the agent offseason, which I find that hard to believe sometimes. But
I have the exact quote here where it was, quote, "I don't think you will see the Steelers be very involved in bringing in outside free agents. I think most of their attention will be focused on deciding what to do with the guys they brought in last year on one-year deals, such as Ogunjobi, Damontae Kazee, and Terrell Edmunds." Okay, and here's my personal thing. I don't need them. Like, when it comes to talking about, getting free agents and guys and stuff like that, obviously, yes, we want to re-sign Cam Sutton. I want to bring back Damontae Kazee. I want to bring back Terrell Edmunds. Ogunjobi, I can live without.
You can, because
I can live without him. If we don't re-sign him, okay, it's not the end of the world. But at the end of the day, we've talked about, if there's only one if I can go and only get one outside free agent, let it be the flexibility that you can have with Tremaine Edmunds, Terrell Edmunds, Kazee, Minka, of course, Terrell. I mean, you could just have all kinds of flexibility and have fun with that defense, because not only are you bringing in a bunch of speed, you could bring in a bunch of mixed looks, because you could have certain guys that could play in the box, some guys that you could drop into coverage. It just adds a different element to the defense, which, by the way, the defense was a little bit better than I think some people expected. Not at $108 million worth, but it
was
did
better
play
as
better.
it went on.
It did play better than what some people probably thought it was. And we talked about that a little bit last week.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and if you're saying Tremaine Edmonds is your one free agent, who would you would sign? How do you feel? Do you feel like bringing back another inside linebacker, bringing back Spillane or Bush back?
This is where the draft would come in, because at the end of the day, we've talked about this ad nauseum, and we're going to continue to talk about. We're going to talk about this here later on here in the show about who to bring in. Do you want to bring in a corner? Do you want to bring in a, obviously, offensive tackle, inside an interior defensive line, linebacker? You have different options. I mean, you have 3 picks in the top 50. So you have some flexibility. You have some versatility there. So it's a matter of however you handle free agency is going to be what you do with the draft. If you bring in a Tremaine Edmonds, okay, maybe you can wait a tiny bit longer on a linebacker. Maybe how much do they trust in Mark Robinson now going into a second year? We don't know. If you want to go after, say for an example, if you don't, okay. Now you're talking about maybe do you want to use one of those top 3 picks on a linebacker? Obviously, you and me, we've been talking ad nauseum how we want an offensive tackle. There's going to be a conversation later about wide receiver, because God forbid everyone is going nuts about that, but we'll get into that later.
How do you feel about signing an offensive tackle in the offseason?
It would have. I don't want just like one of these. It would have to be like the guy from like Kansas City, who's a free agent, I think. It would have to be one of those guys. Other than that, I would rather just use that 17th pick. Whether it's Paris Johnson, whether it's Broderick Jones, whether it's Peter Skoronski. I mean, and Skoronski is interesting. And I've talked, throughout the week, we've been in our group chat. We've been talking, I was showing you guys different clips of some different guys with the offensive line. As I told you, I'm not as high on Skoronski. However, what I do like about him is the position flexibility. I like the ability that I think that you could kick him into guard. So, okay. So here's the intriguing part about this. We all know that Mike Tomlin does not like Kevin Dotson. That has become pretty much abundantly clear. He does not like Dotson. Say there is something that you want to do. Say they're going to stick with Dan Moore. And hear me out on this. Hear me out. Because how you feel is exactly the same way I would feel. But this is where the flexibility comes in. You bring in a Skoronski. You could kick him into guard. Or you want to kick Dan Moore to guard and play Skoronski at tackle. That's where you can have some intriguing there. You have Paris Johnson, who in my opinion is the best immediate impact. Broderick Jones is another one of those guys who he's played at a very high level. He's played very good talent, and he's been very good. He's been very good.
What about Kevin Green? Kendrick Green?
Get out. Get out. You're going in the corner for about 5 seconds for that comment.
Oh, I had to. That was funny.
Oh, listen. But, I mean, that's where the kind of flexibility comes into play there. And then, obviously, corner route. If you want to go corner at 17, I'm not the biggest fan of going corner at 17 specifically. I would love for them to go at 32 because I think that the offensive tackle class is not as deep as the corner class. But, again, we don't know how the draft is going to go. If they truly feel like there's a corner that they just have to have and the corners have been really rolling off the board, I could see where they're thinking there.
I could see 2 names at 17. Yeah, maybe 3.
Are you? I mean, obviously, I know you're very high on Christian Gonzalez.
Joey Porter Jr. Maybe Cam Smith could be another name to keep a
And
lookout for.
and here's the thing: we can name 5 corners off the top of our heads that could possibly go. I mean, you have Joey Porter Jr., you have Keely Ringo, you have Christian Gonzalez, you have Cam Smith, you have Devin Witherspoon from Illinois. So those are 5 guys just right off the bat.
I just feel Keely Ringo is not too high now with this pick, though. I don't think
no. But I'm just saying.
I know you're just saying,
yeah,
but
like
I'm just going by draft prospect. You know,
right.
Keely Ringo's not that high in my eyes right now.
In your eyes, and that's I haven't looked too much into Keely Ringo yet, so I don't know. I can't personally make my opinion on that. But yeah, with corners, there's not. I mean, offensive tackles. Okay, see, Jalen Duncan is one of those guys where it's like, okay, you don't want to maybe get him in the first round, but maybe if you want to use one of those second round picks to get him and go and get a corner, okay. But I mean, look at all the corners that you could go with. I mean, there's also Brian Branch from Alabama. You have Antonio Johnson from Texas A&M. I mean, just on plus the other guys that we've talked about. There's so many different scenarios that you could do a corner there. That's why I'm not as intrigued with going at corner at 17.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather just go and get the offensive tackle, the best offensive tackle on the board at 17. Go and get yourself a corner at 32. And then with your original second round pick, now you have some flexibility. Do you want to go and get yourself an interior defensive lineman? Do you want to go and get yourself a linebacker? I mean, there's not all that many linebackers, but there's some that I could totally see him being.
What position is more important at 32? Let's say if it's an offensive tackle, you think corner is more important than a D tackle?
Yes.
Than a linebacker?
I would actually not even. I wouldn't be opposed to going with a linebacker at 32, depending on how the corners go. Because, like I said, the corners seem to be more in depth or have more depth than linebacker.
There's like I said, there's so many scenarios that can happen. Which we don't.
That's where, especially having that pick 32, is
huge.
So clutch. First of all, hey, shout out to Omar Khan for that. Shout out to him for that because it was. I mean, for God's sake, I mean that's a fleece and a half. First and foremost, but second off, now you have 3 picks in the top 50 where you can fill some serious holes.
Oh my god!
And I know I don't think you were really a part of the conversation because you were at work. But in our Steeler group chat, we were talking this today about different possibilities of draft. And someone brought up the idea of, do you want to trade up and possibly have to use that pick 32 to trade up from the first round? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think I would rather have those 3 picks because you're going to be able to get a good football player at 17.
Oh yeah,
you're going to get, and then that
you're gonna get a premier player at 17 for sure.
I would rather be able to fill 3 holes rather than 2.
2, it makes sense.
So that's where I am at this point. And by real quick, by the way, everyone, we're getting ready to get hit with a massive, massive storm. So if we do go out for some odd reason, probably because it means our power went out for some odd reason. So I do want to give a disclaimer. We do have a big storm coming in. So.
Oh really? Damn.
Yeah, we don't get to have 75 and sunny like you guys down there every day.
Can't relate. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, congratulations to you and all your success. But yeah, that's where so much flexibility comes into this, and that's why it's so nice to have that.
It is. It really is. I just wonder. It's so many scenarios that you could think that can happen, but once the combine goes through, we'll get a better feel of where they might go. Maybe a couple scenarios, but it's still very early right now.
Okay, now I need to go back to being pissed off for about 2 seconds.
Oh, boy.
I need to go back to being pissed off for 2 seconds. I want to go back to this Canada thing for a second.
Oh, what?
I have to. For some odd reason, I'm like having fun being tortured. I don't know why. It's this weird thing. I'm like enjoying being pissed off about this. I don't know why. But here's one thing, real quick, going back to the Canada thing. Here's a reason why it's definitely not a surprise. What was the biggest thing that Mike Tomlin wanted in this offense this year? To not turn the ball over. What is one of the biggest things that the Roonies love? Running the football. What happened in the second half? You didn't turn the ball over, and you ran the football effectively. Those two, simple math. I understood there wouldn't be math, but here's math. What does effective running the football plus 0 turnovers equal? Oh, that's just a godsend from the heavens above for Mike Tomlin and them. Yeah, they were going to keep him. I mean, when you look at it in that way, and at the end of the day, it pisses you off beyond belief because at the end of the day, they're okay with mediocrity. They're okay with, I mean, there's the biggest thing is stability, continuity. Screw that. When you have to make change, you have to make change for the better. I mean, what's the difference between, and I hear the argument of people saying, you know, would it be good for Kenny Pickett to learn a new offense in this? You know, sorry, Thunder's just going absolutely nuts out here right now. So I got distracted for a minute. What's the difference between Kenny Pickett having and learning a new offense in year 2 or going into year 3? One of the big difference. Well, Kenny Pickett he'll be eligible for a contract after year 3, and number 2. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you're still going to have to learn a new offense. I mean, unless hell freezes over and Matt Canada's offense turns into the second coming of the greatest show on turf, you're going to let him go. So what is the point? I would rather spend the next 3 years getting a new offensive coordinator for Kenny Pickett this year and letting him
so many good ones coming out too, man. That's the thing.
You said what?
There's some good offensive coordinaters that are possible promotion to OCs. You know, you could
so
try.
Let me ask you this, because this is the biggest name that's been popping up this week, and you know where I'm about to go with this.
God no, not his name.
Byron Leftwich.
God no.
Okay, and here's why I'm asking, because this was definitely a tweet that I made. In fact, I did a poll on this earlier this week, and I said, should the Steelers try to go after Byron Leftwich? Strictly because I wanted to gauge where the fans were on this. 53.3% say yes. They had said yes. I could understand both sides to this.
So can I, but yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, part of me wants to believe that Byron Leftwich might have been a scapegoat here in Tampa Bay. But at the end of the day, if you couldn't do it with Tom Brady and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin,
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, you could also say, well, Tom Brady also is 45 years old. He's literally a walking, he's a walking stone feet. He's basically Mason Rudolph that's about 25 years older. So
he's the GOAT.
Stop that. Stop it. But no, I mean, I got a couple comments on here. It was, Leftwich isn't the answer. Love the guy. Love that he played for us for the Steelers, which is another thing why I could have seen possibly Mike Tomlin going for him because, former player. Need to set the bar higher. Find someone who complements yet challenges Kenny Pickett's skill set. Someone commented, keep Canada, which I can't tell if that's a troll or what. I would take a 12-year-old calling plays off of Madden, 4 verticals every play over Matt Canada. And then, remember when the Steelers fired BA, 7 was more upright for that point. Leftwich uses the same no risk it, no biscuit philosophy. What are we doing here? You
know what's crazy? It makes Todd Haley look really good.
And again, I was one of those people that didn't want him to get fired in the first place. And you know what? I just had a thought. So I need to look something up here real quick. And it involves Randy Fichtner for a minute too. Because he was the last offensive coordinator that we had. Here, I gotta find this real quick. 28. I want to look up total off.
Imagine like a West Coast offense that they have. Oh my God. So whoever has a bring that West Coast like Sean McVay tree. Oh my God.
I'm kind of curious to see where the Steelers ranked in terms of offense in his time.
What with Randy Fichtner?
Yeah,
or Todd Haley
or Randy Fichtner, because I remember Todd Haley was like one of those guys.
Randy Fichtner, if I remembered correctly.
Okay, so here, real quick.
You have it, but I think it was good for the first couple seasons, and then it just went completely
so 2018,
downhill.
in terms of total yards per game, Pittsburgh was fourth in the NFL, only behind Kansas City, the Rams, and Tampa Bay.
Okay,
and then you go to 2019. Now, obviously, that was the year that you had Mason Rudolph. They went all the way down to 30th. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
okay, whatever. Then you go to 2020. Then you were you were a little bit down the road. I thought they were a little bit higher. They were 30th, 29, 28, 27, 20. Okay, they were 25th.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually thought they were a little bit higher, so that kind of defeats my argument. In 2020.
So, like I said, oh well.
And I'm not saying that I was going to make the argument for us to keep Randy Fichtner. But I wanted to say that I truly thought that Randy Fichtner, that 2020 offense was actually a little bit better than it was. I mean, I forgot, but yeah, I'm so tired of this. Letting someone go and then just elevating from inside. That shit just piss. And this was a question I was going to ask before the news officially came out. And I said, would you rather have stayed status quo with Matt Canada, or the Steelers fire Matt Canada and just promote Mike Sullivan to OC? And I know none of the options. Those would be none of the options we'd want.
I don't like these options.
But it was a topic that I had to bring up. I was going to bring up before. But I mean, shit. While we're here, what would you have rather have happened?
Repeat the question again one more time for me.
Would you rather stay status quo with Matt Canada, or they fire Matt Canada and just promote Mike Sullivan to OC?
I'd rather keep Matt Canada then. Fuck no.
Oh, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like Mike Sullivan also has called a offense before, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking this up. Yes, he has called plays before. So he was a offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay from 2012 to 2014. And yes, so he has called an offense before, at least.
Yeah.
But I'm
true.
just and he's also called it for two separate teams, the Giants and Tampa Bay. So
well,
I mean, it was just a question. I just thought, okay, here was another question I wanted to ask him. You know what? While we're here, we'll still ask it. If I gave you 3 positions to improve in order, what would you have ranked in terms of where would you have wanted improvements?
Oof. 3 positions.
Offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Inside linebacker, or left tackle. Rank those 3 in order.
Oh, offensive coordinator would be number 1 for me, honestly. I want a new play caller. Then I'll go offensive tackle, then linebacker.
Okay, that's where I'm at. Same here. That was a question I saw earlier in the week, and I thought was intriguing. And also, here's another thing too, with the Steelers. And we talk about the 7-2 down the stretch. Okay, let's talk about the records of those teams that we have. That we beat. So we beat the 4-12-1 Falcons, or the Colts. The 7-10 Falcons, the 7-10 Panthers, the 6-11 Raiders, the 10-7 Ravens, the 7-10 Browns, and also let's not forget, for some reason they didn't add this, the Saints. But out of those teams, the 6 of the 7 teams,
we beat the Bengals too. Let's not forget that.
But I'm talking about since the bye.
Since the bye. Okay,
the bye.
Okay,
that's
what you're saying. Okay.
Those teams that I just mentioned had a combined 41, 60-1 record. Also a .405 win percentage.
Well,
but hey, marginal improvements equals let's also get stalemate offense again for another year. What the hell are we doing? What's up, Steel Black? Hey, listen, I hope a full offseason could change bad Matt Canada play calling.
that's what you hope for now.
Here's what I say to that. I also hope I could also lose a shit ton of weight, but that doesn't look like that's happening. And I don't mean that disrespectful to Steel Blacks. I mean, I get what he's saying. I mean, I say the same thing. We know damn well it ain't happening.
Imagine if it does. What would you say, huh? Would you say sorry?
Oh, listen, if we came out guns a-blazing and this offense became a competent offense where we were looking like an NFL offense, yes, I would come onto this show and apologize. I absolutely will. I'd eat my words. I mean, we all know I love to eat. I'll eat them words.
Yeah. So if I eat the words, yeah.
And we all know I love to eat. Maybe it'd be great. Maybe we would do that right around Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll just get it. I'll just get a shit ton of food and we'll just spell out "I'm sorry, Matt Canada," and then I just eat it on the show. But we all know that probably ain't gonna happen because, like I said, the offense is probably gonna be absolutely god awful again. Canada the GOAT. The only thing that Canada is the GOAT at is, I mean, they're good at hockey. Oh, they're good at hockey. That's the only thing they're good at. Other than that, Matt Canada needs to go straight to hell. You know what needs to happen? Here's what we need to have happen here in Pittsburgh. Now, I know you're from Florida. Congratulations to you and all your success. I'm here from Northeast Ohio. It's not congratulations to me and all my successes. The fact is, damn, thank you for your failures. Now, here's what needs to happen in Pittsburgh. Matt Canada goes to a bar. Don't serve him any beer. He goes to a restaurant. Kick him the fuck out. Tell him no. Or just give him some stale ass food. Wherever the hell he goes, make him feel not welcomed because he's not. The only person there's two people. I lied. There's three people that are welcoming Matt Canada around. Kenny Pickett, who I believe still is brainwashed. Mike Tomlin, because he got his son, because Matt Canada helped his son get into Maryland. And three, it's Art Rooney, and that's strictly because he's too cheap to want to spend $1 million to get his ass out of here.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Listen, I guaranteed you, if there could be a GoFundMe for Steeler fans to get to raise $1 million to send it to the Roonies to ship his ass out of here, I guarantee you it would hit because that's how bad we want. I mean, for God's sakes, Justin's in here, Hunter's in here. Here's an example. They're Browns fans. Here's a perfect example. How we're feeling about Matt Canada is how they felt about Joe Woods. Joe Woods, they wanted to ship his ass as far away from Cleveland as humanly possible.
And they got it.
They actually made some change. They actually want to improve. They actually went out and got a respectable defense coordinator in Jim Schwartz. So what do? No, we're just going to stay course, and we're just going to stick with Matt freaking Canada, who has absolutely no business being a play caller in the National Football League.
Yeah, no. It's
Joe Woods
very...
or Matt Canada, who's worse at their job? Listen, Joe Woods, Matt Canada is the worst thing that I have seen in football. He is worse than, let's see, what is he worse at? I think he's worse than Artie Burns trying to cover people. I think he's worse than trying to keep Johnny Manziel out of bars. I think he's worse than Jamarcus Russell actually watching film. I think he's worse than trying to keep Jameis Winston out of trying to steal crab legs. I think he's worse than, you name it. I don't think there's a worse person at their job than Matt freaking Canada. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we got to the next topic and we keep still talking about this guy.
The next topic's just going to get me this much more riled up. I think I purposely chose topics that just piss me off. I told y'all I got some rants in me today, boy. I got some rants in me. Here we go.
Right, let's go.
You said what?
Let's go. Let's see what the next topic. I already know you want it.
for the crowd who wants the wide receiver at pick 17. So here's my thoughts on this first and foremost. Number one, we keep hearing the same freaking arguments every time. Look at Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. First and foremost, Joe Burrow had one of the best college football seasons that we had ever seen from a quarterback in college football. Jamar Chase was probably the best wide receiver prospect coming out in the last, what? Let's be honest.
Well, it's a good class. That's all we'll say that. Out of the best class right there.
Well, here, let's talk about this for a minute. In terms of wide receivers, okay. In terms of hyped up prospects coming out of the draft. We all know that Justin Jefferson was also in 2020. I understand that. But he wasn't as hyped as Jamar Chase. You have Devontae Smith. You have him in there as well. But Jamar Chase went first, if I'm not mistaken. 2020? No. 2019? Hell no. 2018? No, not really. 2017? No, not really. 2016? I don't think so. So, you're going back some years. Why in the hell? Here's the thing. There's 3 reasons why Steeler fans want Georgia, and we're talking specifically about Jordan Addison. We're talking 3 specific reasons. Again, just because Joe Burrow, who had one of the best quarterback seasons we had seen coming out of college, and Jamar Chase, just because they made it work, doesn't mean that Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison can do. You know what? Here's a comparison you can make. They could also turn into Mason Rudolph and James Washington. They went to college together. They played together. Do they look like the second coming of gods? No. Mason Rudolph, we want to ship his ass just as far away as we did from Matt Canada. James Washington, yeah, he was cool, but he was nowhere near those guys. So, yeah. Number 2, you just want a brand new toy. You want a new toy. Instead of going after, this is like the example of you needing something. Like, say for example, you need to go and get your car fixed, but there's also like a brand new pair of shoes, or, for the women, there's like a brand new makeup line that's coming out, whatever the hell it is. They would rather go and spend the money on that or a new pair of Uggs. That's what getting a new wide receiver for this year for the Steelers in the first round would be like. And number 3, what happened to us being just this great, wide receiver development factory? What happened to that? Again, did we just forget about that, or are we just getting too hyped up in certain things? Let me know.
Well, you went to Pitt. You went to Pitt with Kenny Pickett. They had the best college season
I don't
together.
give a fuck! I just, if Jordan Addison wasn't the former teammate, we are not having this conversation. And that's exactly it. And part of it is because he did go to Pitt. Yes, I understand he was a Blitnikoff winner. I understand that. But at the end of the day, it's a whole different ball game. Again, we all know Joe Burrow was miles better than Kenny Pickett. We all can see that. I think Halle Berry can see that. And then Jamar Chase is way better than Jordan Addison. I think we could all say that. Maybe not way, but we all know Jamar Chase is way better than Jordan Addison. Come on now. We have bigger needs here. What about the offensive tackle? And then they say, oh, yeah. What happened when they selected Penei Sewell? Everyone wanted them to guess Penei Sewell. They go get Jamar Chase and they go to the Super Bowl. Hey, first and foremost, do you also see how many times Joe Burrow got sacked?
At least 60
you also want
times.
to talk about how I truly do believe that if they would have had Penei Sewell, I just think at the end of the day, you have to look at this. Offensive tackles are not the sexy pick. They're not at all, but they are what you need. There are teams where, for God's sakes, look at the Pittsburgh Steelers in the mid-2000s. Look at the great offensive lines that we had. Alejandro Villanueva, he was a Pro Bowler. Ramon Foster, he was a pretty damn good guard. Marquise Pouncey, he's a Hall of Fame goon and also a borderline Hall of Fame center. David DeCastro, he was an all-pro guard. Right tackle's always been a crapshoot for us, but you get what I mean. 4 of your 5 offensive linemen at that time We're all pretty damn good at one point of time together.
Yeah.
You would think that we would learn from that.
No.
But no, we would. And here's the thing. We have not invested a lot into the offensive line in such a long time. We have not.
The highest, I think drafted on ours is what? Chooks, a core for a third rounder?
Yeah, like a third. I mean, we haven't selected a offensive lineman in the first round in a decade. It's been a decade. And that was David DeCastro. And what the hell did he do? Hey, he fell to us in the first round of 2012, and he became a pretty damn good guard, if you ask me.
Hall of Fame guard right there.
Maybe my memory's gone wrong, but yeah, I think he was a pretty good guard for us. Just pretty good. I mean, yeah, he was pretty good for us.
A Hall of Fame guard, if I can see one,
but,
for sure. Future.
I just don't simply get. And, I posted this today. I posted on Twitter. I said, I still don't get why people want Addison at 17 so bad. We have bigger needs than wide receiver. Someone said I would love Jordan Addison, however, we have bigger needs. Someone said not to mention it's a reach. That I don't agree with. I don't think that would be a reach. He's good. That's his range.
His range is right there. Probably
Someone
top
said
15.
thank you. Waste of a pick. Someone said those needs can be addressed in the second. We have 2 seconds. Pickett wants Addison. You give him Addison. Someone said would be amazing to have 3 super good wide receivers and an electric offense. I agree.
We haven't seen Calvin Austin too, and everyone's saying who are we going to feed the ball to if we get? Let's say we get Jordan Addison on the team. You got Deontay Johnson. You got George Pickens. You got Pat Freiermuth. Now you got Calvin Austin coming back.
And Calvin also could be one of those speedster guys that.
Exactly.
And here's what he said: would be amazing to have 3 super good wide receivers and an electric offense. I agree that we need to fix issues at the all-line corner, inside linebacker rooms. But I think when the fans see a wide receiver trio like in our division, once again, death, taxes, and people talking about the Bengals, they want something very similar. Great wide receiver plus Mixon, we want that. And then, Justin, you commented because being a wide receiver is a sexy pick, taking offensive line is quote-unquote boring. That's formerly true. That's actually very true. I mentioned that about 5 minutes ago. Someone else said, agreed. If we were stacked everywhere, it'd be great to afford and spend a luxury pick. We aren't. We can't. We need corners, linebackers, O-line, D-line in no particular order. People are convinced it'll recreate Burrow Chase. Bengals took a big risk in not going O-line. It paid off, but that's also not enough reason to follow that plan.
Joe Burrow got at least sacked 60 times that season.
Yeah.
That's not good for your franchise QB.
Someone said one major need. We need to trade 17 and 32 for Jalen Carter. Oh, Jesus. I mean, I like Jalen Carter, but hell no. Hell no.
Man, if we had Jalen Carter, though, God. I would be so happy, man.
I mean, here's the rebuttal that I can make. Look at the pass rushers in the AFC North itself. The Bengals got Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson. The Browns have Myles Garrett, who was an All-Pro this year. The Ravens, they just seem like they can produce. They find ways to get to the pass rusher. I mean, for God's sakes, they had 95-year-old fossil Justin Houston getting to the quarterback. You had Jason Pierre-Paul. They got Odafe Oweh. I mean, they got guys that could get to the quarterback. You need to protect your investment at all costs. And again, listen. There's going to be a guy, I've seen a bunch of people I don't know how accurate this would be, but I've seen a lot of people saying that we could get Jalen Wyatt or Jalen Hyatt in the 3rd round. If you were able to get me an offensive tackle, corner, and then you could have your pick of choice of I need a
linebacker, D tackle,
and then a wide receiver there. The things that I would do would be unimaginable. Pause. But oh man.
You already know what's important. An offensive tackle and a corner linebacker. That's the only offensive position we need in the top 3 rounds is an offensive tackle. Maybe I don't see any good centers or guards coming out of this draft class.
And
So
also, here's my thing too. Part of it, he says, I feel the Browns need to snag Hyatt. I mean, I agree. I mean, you guys definitely need some sort of receiver, a third receiver. But I don't care if you have Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and Randy Moss at wide receiver all together. You can't scheme the guys open. Because, look at, for an example, like the San Francisco 49ers offense. They're just able to get so wide open. They're just wide, gaping open. It's like a prostitute on the weekend. How
look
open they are.
Ray McLeod's been on that team.
I mean, Kansas City.
not the grid.
And I understand. I mean, Kansas City, they scheme their guys open where they're also able to get yards after catch. In fact, here, I have a tweet bookmarked from earlier today that I saw. So Steelers yards after catch rankings among NFL players in 2022. Pat Freiermuth, 53rd. Deontay Johnson, 80th. Najee Harris, 92nd. George Pickens, 211th. Now the Chiefs in 2022. Kelsey, 3rd. Jerick McKinnon, 7th. Juju Smith-Schuster, 18th. Scheme matters. Scheme matters. I don't care if you have Jesus Christ of 1, 2, and 3. Have them all three cloned together. If you can't scheme the guys open, it doesn't matter.
And I'm going to say this as well. We're not trading Deontay Johnson. You could take that off the table as well.
Yeah, the more that I've thought about that, the more, again, if you could get like a high second for him, I would consider it. Like if you got like a mid to high second for him, then I wouldn't be opposed to that. Then you could go and get yourself a wide receiver. And on top of that, you could shed off a good amount of cap too. But at the end of the day, we have to look at it as you have Deontay Johnson, you have George Pickens. And then, like you said, you got Calvin Austin, you have Pat Freiermuth, and you have Najee along with Jaylen Warren. Address the bigger needs first. Again, this is like saying that you need a new alternator, but instead you would rather get a new sound system. That's where this is coming down to at this point. At the end of the day, you got to fill your needs. Not your wants, your needs.
Yep. That's right.
I think, again, as what Justin said and how I've been saying this, people just want a new toy. It's the wide receivers are the sexy picks. Right now, you don't need sexy. You need effective. That's where we are at.
Yep.
Like I said, as long as if you gave me, like, if the Steelers, like, on draft night, we'll be covering the NFL draft live here on the channel. If they were to go and get a corner, okay. I'm not, it's not an offensive tackle, but depending on how it goes, okay, not too mad at it. I can live with that. They're going to get offensive tackle, I'm ecstatic. I'm great. I'm happy. If they go and get a wide receiver, you might see me throw some shit. And if they go and get it, there's not an interior defensive lineman that I think that would be worthy of that at that time. And plus, that's not as big of a need. That's not as big of a need.
Oh, they're gonna need it sooner or later. They need it.
Well, and I agree. That's why that's one of the position groups that I want to see them go after with the first 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
But at pick 17, I think as of now, I'm just so stuck on offensive tackle. You need to get an offensive tackle. You need to get an anchor for your offensive line for a decade plus to go and protect your quarterback. You need a guy that's going to, protect Kenny Pickett's blind side, a guy that can help run effectively with the run game, a guy that's going to be that you could. Look at, for an example, like with Justin there. They had Joe Thomas. For a decade, they didn't have to worry about a damn thing. It didn't matter if you had J.J. Watt, or Reggie White, or whoever the hell else you wanted to put. They didn't have to worry about a damn bit because they knew Joe Thomas was going to handle his business. Look at San Francisco with Trent Williams. Look at how it was with Dallas Cowboys and Tyron Smith. They got to worry about a damn thing because they know when he's out on the field, they're going to be protected by him. Mm-hmm. I'll trade you Jedrick Wills for 17. Hey, I'll trade you an ass whooping.
Hell no. 17. You are wild.
I know that's a troll.
That's a troll. You wild.
Yeah, I know for a fact it is. It's because he also hates Jedrick Wills with everything. Kirby, Dotson has been 1,000% worse than Dan Moore. Okay, so if that's the case, then go after Skoronski. That's where in that situation, Skoronski comes into play. Because he's one of those guys, like for example, Tristan Wirfs back in 2020. The reason why I liked him so much was I thought he was going to be a pretty damn good tackle, which he has. But I thought he was going to be, if you were to kick him inside, he was going to be a damn good guard. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to Skoronski, at tackle, I do tend to wonder a little bit. But I think if you were to kick him in the guard, okay, now you're talking. Now you have some flexibility there. That's where I'm at on that. Because for me, my rankings as of now is Paris Johnson, Broderick Jones, Skoronski. That's where I'm at for those three. How about Wills in a bag of salt and vinegar chips for 17?
No.
First and foremost, salt and vinegar. What the hell?
It's not my favorite kind of chips.
Now,
no
if
way.
you were talking maybe Sun Chips, very underrated, by the way. Sun Chips are so underrated.
Garden salsa.
I've never had them.
I'll get it. It has a little kick. It's fantastic.
A little kick. Interesting.
If you like spice, I like it.
Does it have more of a kick than Brett Maher? Oh boy!
Oh, Brett Maher.
Hey, me.
I hope you still have it. I don't know. Does he still have a job?
Yeah, but they signed someone to the practice squad, so as of now they're sticking.
No, that's crazy.
I mean,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, I get it. It's one game, but four extra points. You can't miss 4 extra points in a row.
I mean,
I know Boswell missed 2, or like field goals as well. Listen, I think he was hurt. Maher has no excuse.
Next thing you know, they come out and say he has like a groin injury.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's the excuse. Oh, my groin. Yeah, that's it.
So I got 2 more comments on my Kenny Pickett, or the Addison. Why do people want him so bad? One was he played at Pitt. That's it. That's the reason. That I do agree with. And number 2,
Shocker.
Chase is substantially better than Addison. He was the BPA, whatever the hell that is.
Best player available.
Oh yeah, best player available. Addison will not be.
What do you mean? Wasn't Sewell was there, or was
Sewell was there because he went like 7 or 8.
I don't know if he would be.
And that was a situation where Joe Burrow pounded the table for Jamar Chase, and they went with it.
Yeah.
I feel
best
like the closer
player
that we get to this, the
available. I would
more
have
that
said
I'm going to
Sewell.
fear that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and I'm not going to be I don't want to have to be the guy, and I'm not going to do it yet at all. But if Kenny Pickett starts pounding the table for Addison, and then they draft Addison, and this offense still just does not look good, and the offensive line is just still not that great, I'm going to hate to do it, but I'm going to have to definitely get some. I'm going to have to ridicule Kenny Pickett a little bit. But here's the thing. Here's also the thing that we got to remember about. This is also the first draft with Omar Khan and Andy Weidel. So that's something that I'm going to be curious about. Because the way that this draft pick for them will kind of give us a gauge on what they're going to be looking for and how they might run their drafts.
Well, free agency will determine it as well, too, honestly.
Right. Paris is not not that good. Broderick, yes, maybe.
Paris Johnson's a dog. Whoa.
Paris Johnson is an absolute monster. Paris Johnson, I watched the 3 this year. I watched Skoronski, I watched Broderick Jones, and I watched Johnson. Paris Johnson is the best left tackle prospect in this class.
If he's there, you better take him.
If he is there, I'm going to be beyond pissed if they were to not get him.
Well, listen, if any one of those 3 are still there, you better take one of them.
Yes.
Personally. But if Johnson isn't there, you better take Skoronski or Jones.
Does Kenny have the power to pound the table for a player? I don't think he does. Joe was the number 1 pick, so he has that power. That's actually something that I asked him earlier in the show was, do you think he should have that kind of power? I mean...
Oh, no.
And at the end of the day, I think if you're looking at this, you got to look at it and say, listen, we have bigger needs. We have bigger needs to where we need to go, and we need a new offensive tackle because Dan Moore has been absolutely putrid in pass pro. Run pro, he has been bad. But in pass pro, he is absolutely god. I'm pretty sure you could get past him.
Those penalties were killer, too.
And he got the penalties were killer. And, I mean, you look at corners, another one of those needs where I think you definitely would like, especially if they don't re-sign Cam Sutton.
That might be that might honestly, if that happens,
and if they were to re-sign, now what is Levi Wallace's contract?
He's 2 years, so
okay, so we have him for another year. Okay, and then I don't think they're going to re-sign William. They're not going to bring back William Jackson. I just don't think that's going to happen. Okay.
So well, his contract is. I think they might restructure it.
I just get this gut feeling they're just not going to bring him back. I just got this weird feeling.
Are you going to be what Keller Witherspoon? Is he a free agent?
No. I think he has one more year as well.
Ugh,
so it's like, okay. So say they were to re-sign Cam Sutton. Okay. So maybe corner is not as big of a need for them. Okay. So maybe you drop them down a couple spots. So what are you looking at next? Inside linebacker, maybe a defensive lineman. I mean, look at some of the guys that you could possibly go after.
And a tackle.
Well, I said a tackle.
Offensive tackle. Offense. Oh, okay, I didn't hear you.
No, I'm just talking like we already know, as for us, of now, offensive tackle.
I know what you're talking about.
Need.
I get it, yeah, for sure.
As of now, corner
behind it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And look at some of the interior defensive line. I mean, obviously you got Jalen Carter, but we all know he'll be gone. Brian Breesy, he'll be gone. Miles Murphy probably will be gone.
Hey, you never know if Jalen Carter will fall. This thing has character issues.
Get out.
If Jalen Carter's at 17, you better snatch him up.
If Jalen Carter is at 17, I think I would legitimately go outside of my house and start streaking down the road at this point.
Listen, they said the same thing about George Pickens having character issues. He's supposed to be a first-round pick. I know it's not the case for everybody. He was supposed to be a first-round pick.
Yeah, but I also think there was actual... I mean... When what's his name came out was saying that there was quote unquote character issues with him, people are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like George Pickens, you can physically see it. People say that about Jalen Carter, and they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have Ron Dexter from Florida. That could be a possibility, in the second round. And then, I mean, if you want to go after an edge guy for someone. If you're looking to replace, what's his name, Alex Highsmith. I mean, obviously Will Anderson will be gone. Jarryd Verse from Florida State. Tyree Wilson, he'll be gone. I mean, you got Lucas Van Ness from Iowa. Nolan Smith from Georgia. Isaiah Foskey from Notre Dame. I mean, so you have...
There's so many names.
Someone got... Or Laramie Tunsil Carter. Yeah.
I
had to think about that for a minute. Yeah, someone would have to Laramie Tunsil his ass in order for him to fall like that. And even then, he only fell to like 11.
Yeah.
But
it is possible. I'm not going to, it's very, very low.
I think I think I have a better chance of not looking like a human beach whale in 2 months than that happening. But yeah, other than that, I mean, you got anything else before we get the hell on out of here?
I don't know, man. Nothing crazy.
I told y'all this was gonna be one for the books.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of rants going on. I really want to just get into the off season when it comes. I'm sure we all are. Whoever's on the playoffs. It's just there's so much that could happen. Once March hits, it's gonna be crazy.
You know what? Here, no, I'm gonna piss myself off one more time.
Oh my god.
Actually, I don't know. We'll see. So how much of the playoffs did you watch over the weekend? Did you watch a good amount?
I watched a decent amount. Okay. Not like the only game I didn't care about was the Bucks game because after the first half I was like, all right, watch it anymore.
Wait, so you'll be able to answer this.
Mm-hmm.
When you were watching those offenses, did it kind of piss you off thinking, yeah, we're nowhere in the same stratosphere as this?
Kind of did.
Yeah.
I was surprised Miami went crazy. That's probably the most surprising. Miami, really?
Huh. Well, now you're gonna get me going down a roll that's gonna piss me off here. So you're meaning to tell me Miami freaking Dolphins with Skylar freaking Thompson, who I'm pretty sure his own coach didn't know who he was 4 months ago, was able to drop 30 points on Buffalo, who had one of the better defenses in the NFL. They were able to do it? Oh, but yeah, scheme doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and keep Matt Country up north for $1 million. Oh, Canada, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, Miami, the Giants, man. Giants are on a roll. That'll be another great game this Saturday, Sunday, wherever they play.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. Steel Black says, if this is the draft, how would you feel Joey Porter Jr., Ikea from Baylor, and Isaiah Foskey?
I don't know that. I don't know Foskey.
Joey Porter Jr., okay, not mad at. Foskey? Or the guy from Baylor? Not at 32. Nah.
We'll see.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, we'll say maybe, depending. Well, no.
Like I said,
because you know what that means? That means you haven't addressed the offensive tackle position.
That's true.
And I think there's very little things that you're going to be that's going to be very hard for me to change my mind, and I think this is
because like for God's sakes, if we don't take it to offensive tackle something, they better be at 32. It's not like it can't be the next second round pick.
Or unless they go and actually get one of these top guys in free agency. Which
there's not really many good names personally out there. There's you want Taylor Lewan to come? Want
Jersey Jerry from Barstool has been pounding the table for him, who also has 1 year left on his deal. Seems like he's hurt. And don't get me wrong, I am one of the biggest Taylor Lewan fans there is. Coming from an Ohio State fan, yes, there was a Michigan player that I like. Taylor Lewan is one of my favorites in the league. Especially, you know what really made me like him was when he went and got in Richard Sherman's face after he had the one hit on I think it was Mariota. I think it was.
Yeah.
And he just got into his face. I love that. That made me love Taylor Lewan.
You just can't stay healthy.
He has a big ass cap hit. I mean, unless they were to just straight up cut him, which
that's just possible. They were talking about it. But also,
I also think that would be something I could see them doing at like training camp. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know like what the pre-June 1st and post-June 1st cap situation is like for Tennessee. I know they're kind of starting to go into a crapshoot. But I mean,
like I said, there's not many premier. They were talking about Isaiah Wynn from New England. I'm like,
yeah.
Like who else? Who else is another good left tackle that's going to be out there? I couldn't think of another one.
Here, now I gotta look this up. Offensive. Oh no, we'll just do NFL free agency 2023. We'll just go to Sport Track here. And then we'll go to.
It's the last thing we'll look at, but yeah.
Okay, so let's go to offensive. Well, specifically look at left tackles here. Orlando Brown.
He ain't coming. He ain't going nowhere.
And then after that, it's really Eric Fisher.
God, no.
Kelvin Beachum.
God, no.
79-and-a-half-year-old Jason Peters.
God, no.
Maybe if this was 10 years ago. And a guy named Dakota Dozier.
No.
Okay.
So there you go.
So there you go. You just answered the question.
Exactly.
Actually, here, I'm curious now on something. Seems like there's a lot more right tackles. Or just name off some other random guys here. There's Mike McGlinchey, but I think he stays in San Fran.
Yeah, he stays. No way.
I would love to have him try to kick him out to left. I would love that, but no. Again, 75-and-a-half-year-old Eric Fisher, no. Riley Reef, nah. Isaiah Wynn, meh. Bring back Chris Hubbard, nah. Caleb McGarry, meh.
No.
Jawan James, no.
No.
So yeah, pretty much free agency unless you were somehow, some way able to get Orlando Brown, it ain't happening. So at that point, go and get yourself a tackle. That's if all tackles are gone. That's why there's no tackle. Okay. So you're saying if the top three were to be gone, which if the top three were to be gone, that'd be a little. What the?
That's kind of crazy. Who would? That's crazy for 4-6. That's kind of. I'm thinking more corners go out for this year, maybe, and depending on how the receivers go.
However, if you're looking at this and saying, if other teams are saying, hey, tackles are not as deep, maybe we need to go and get our guy, that's where I could see that coming into play.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I could see that coming into play. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of defensive line, a lot of corner.
Your receivers, you're going to see.
Receivers is actually not as deep when you really look at it.
Yeah.
But
not deep, but there's some, I'm talking like first rounders, right? Like where they really go.
Because you look at it this way, you already have 3 guaranteed quarterbacks that are going to be gone, with a possibility of a 4th or even 5. No, 4.
Kind of 4 at most.
So you got Bryce Young, Stroud, Will Levis. I think right now the wild cards could be Anthony Richardson from Florida.
Yeah, I wonder where he goes. That's a great. So it is a very
wild card guy. You know for a fact that at least one running back is going to go in front of you. Bijan Robinson's going to go in front of you. So that's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receivers. Quentin Johnston, who, I've seen him. I've personally given him comparisons to Martavis Bryant. I also think a good comp for him, maybe like an AJ Green. Okay, so there's 7. That's the only receiver that I can say as of now is like almost a guaranteed to go before us. Because I can see JSN maybe slipping a tiny bit, but you know what? We'll add him in there. So there's 8. Tight end, Michael Mayer. I can see him going. Okay, so there's 9. Okay, Skoronski, maybe. I can see Skoronski going ahead of us, so there's 10. Defensive tackle. Jalen Carter. So there's 11. Brian Breesy going to 12. Miles Murphy, 13. Will Anderson, 14. Corners. So, those are some guys as of now.
It's just crazy that we're going to get a premier position at 17. That's what I'm excited for.
So, I sure as hell hope, and oh boy. This makes me wish that this was draft night.
I know, but the time will come.
Oh, yeah, it'll come. It's going to come quick.
It is. That's the scary part.
Well, this will be your first time kind of covering the NFL draft from this side of things.
Yeah, because I've been looking more. I'm trying to get more into it, but with this work stuff going on, it's been hard for me.
That's what with the free time that I have, you should see the tabs that I have open over my computer right now. They're insane with all just draft stuff.
Yeah, I wish I had the free time. It's just the free time that I barely have, man.
Well, hey, when it comes to the draft, and we do our draft show, you'll be ready. I know
I'll be ready.
You'll be ready
For sure. Oh, I know I will be. I know that.
And so that'll be something. Obviously, I know we haven't even hit the Super Bowl yet, but I mean, yes, we are doing, for the second year on the channel, we are doing an NFL draft show. We'll be live reacting and analyzing every first-round pick. All 31 of them because, Miami had to tamper. But yeah, we're going to be doing an NFL draft show. It's going to be an absolute blast. You know what I said? 2024. We all get together in Pittsburgh and we do a draft show in Pittsburgh.
Oh, you do one? Yeah. Well, that's all I want to be more down for. I don't know what I'll be doing draft night. I got to see what I'll be doing. It's going to be tough.
I know. Draft night, you're going to be on with us. We're going to do a Zoom call. It's going to be you, me, and Hunter. Because, me and Hunter's been doing this now for 4 years. You're going to be on. You're going to have fun. We'll make it work.
All right. For sure. I'll keep an eye out for it.
But
I got to.
All right. But other than that, I think we are going to get the hell out of here. But thank you everyone again for tuning in. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you have, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment. I might have another highlight reaction video for another draft prospect coming out tonight. Maybe we'll see who it is tonight. But till then, again, go and follow me on Twitter at Jeff_Kirby412. Go and follow him on Twitter at Boss_Sanchez98. But until then, hope to see you guys in the next video or live stream. Stay safe. Have a great week. Peace out.